needed to fill the Speaker's chair, which was also less than the 200 votes secured on Tuesday. Some Republicans are now considering a backup option to empower Patrick McHenry to serve as temporary Speaker while Jordan lines up more support or an alternative is found, a plan the Democrats appear to be open to as they prefer Jordan out of the picture. Let's take a look at those US futures because, of course, we did see a fair bit of damage overnight. We look like we are certainly building on that momentum. The Dow implied open is around 65 points or so lower. The Dow, S&P and the Nasdaq were also down sharply in the regular session, with the Nasdaq seeing the most losses, down 1.6%. This came as Treasury yields soared, the 10-year knocking on the door of 5% at a fresh 16-year high. A rebound in single-family home building data adding to concerns the Fed will have to keep rates higher for longer. And in a sign of further pressure to consumers, the average 30-year mortgage rate rising to 8%, its highest since 2007. Morgan Stanley shares tumbling nearly 7% after its Q3 earnings outlook a hit from a slump in deal making. And the Bank of Korea deciding to keep its rates steady for the 6th straight month. Sherry Kang joins us from Hong Kong with all the details on that, and it was expected, wasn't it, Sherry?
That's right, very much in line with expectations. And of course, so we are still asking that question, though, Sam. Are they pausing or are they done for now? And he did also leave that hawkish bias on the table still, really teasing about how 5 of the 6 BOK board members are still remaining open to one more hike in this cycle here. And of course, we've got one last meeting of this year in the month of November, and that's when we get the fresh forecast coming from the central bank in South Korea in terms of inflation path as well as growth path. And, looking at some of the statement wording and as well as his language during the press conference, it was really the word uncertainties popping up everywhere in terms of inflation, growth, as well as the situation in the Middle East. And obviously that can mean something in terms of oil prices and inflationary pressure in the country as well. Higher for longer is definitely back in the market, and we see that in the bond yields today as well. And stocks are lower. The Kospi losing ground, down about 1.5% or so at the moment. And of course, so when we're talking about higher for longer in the United States, what does that mean for economies like South Korea? He certainly gave a lot of color how he was trying to have this conversation and get some answers when he was at the IMF meeting, talking to IMF people, BIS people, as well as some of the other scholars, and that he's still trying to figure that out. So certainly a challenging job in 2023 still. Sam, it's back to you.
It's a tricky balancing act, Sherry. Thanks so much for that. Well, Ian Sampson is Portfolio Manager at Fidelity International and joins me around the desk right now. There is so much to pack in here at the moment, Ian. I'm just curious, are the markets underestimating the risk out there?